Hi, my name is Chris Chapman. I'm the founder of SystemsThinkingTO, a regular monthly meetup here in Toronto, Ontario, dedicated to helping its members understand systems thinking and how to apply it to improve their organizations, workplaces, lives, and anywhere else they could think by applying this particular way of viewing the world. We're also the proud sponsor of the first Canadian run of the Deming Institute's Introduction to Deming Management Method, an 8-hour workshop this March 21st, 22nd here in Toronto. It's going to be presented by the Deputy Director, Dr. Bill Bellows. With me today is an old colleague of Bill's, John Duddy, and he hails from, or used to work with Bill at Rocketdyne in the past, and he's attended some of Bill's sessions. And I've invited him here today to share with us his experiences and impressions of the workshop. So thank you for joining us, John. I really appreciate you taking the time. Where are you today? Where are you calling from?
I'm in, it's called Capistrano Beach, California. It's about halfway between Los Angeles and San Diego.
Wonderful. And I bet, well, you mentioned just before we got on the call that it had been raining there, but generally it's a sunny place, right?
Yeah, it varies about maybe 10 degrees Celsius throughout the year. Yeah, it's weather's good, temperature's good, not much rain at all.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. So let's just get this started. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got to know Bill, and what your experience is with Dr. Deming's philosophy and teachings?
Sure. Thank you, Chris. Over the years, I actually had worked at Rocketdyne in Canoga Park, California, and Bill was already working there when I first got there. I spent some time in various leadership positions when I was at Rocketdyne, and then both Bill and I both experienced what it was like to try to introduce a systems thinking across the organization, where it was down in the shop floor with everybody that's machinists, et cetera, to actually helping executives become more familiar with what it means to be a systems thinker. I really didn't know that much about it, other than I had an industrial and systems engineering degree, and I was learning on the fly, I'll just say, as I had started my career there at Rocketdyne. Got to know Bill. Again, I was in various leadership roles. Bill and I started talking. I attended some of his classes. I actually went one day and tried to teach a statistics class, and realized how much I still needed to learn about that, because you really learn about something when you have to teach it. Anyway, but I spent some time there and had my first round, or turn in the barrel, I should say, with a class full of people that were first of all learning from Bill, and then getting passed off to me to go ahead and learn some more of the concepts that he was presenting. And at that point in time, I became more interested and wanted to learn more. There was every year Bill would have like about a 3-day class, and it would be from people from all over the world. And so first couple of years I attended some of the classes, and it was included a dinner on a Friday night, all day classes on Saturday, a dinner Saturday night, and then a breakfast on Sunday. And throughout the weekend we would discuss and share various concepts when it came to from systems thinking to different all kinds of subjects around the gamut of this, and it was quite an experience for me. And then as things progressed, I then went to a point where I was co-presenting with Bill Cooper, actually, who's another member of on Bill's thinking team. And we did that for several years. It was a great experience. I always found myself learning a great deal from it. I became more interested and was actually met Diana Deming's Cahill, and she gave me one of Dr. Deming's books. Read that, became more interested, and continued to learn from various other presenters as well. And throughout the years that I worked there with Bill.
Oh, that's fantastic. So quite a broad experience, and it sounds like it had a very, it sounds like from humble beginnings, it had a big impact for you over your career.
Yeah, it really did. It was, learned so much from Bill, as well as through the various colleagues that he worked with. I ended up moving down to Australia for 5 years, and leading the defense business down there, as well as the commercial airplane business for Boeing. And I applied those same concepts down there, and about trying to really learn have an appreciation for a system, knowing how something could interact. A change in one area can affect change in another area, and found that also treating people with respect, with asking for people's input. Not trying to be the person that solved all the problems, but somebody to help facilitate the solving of problems. And a lot of that I learned from the various classes that I did take with Bill.
Fantastic. So, in your words, how would you describe your experience of attending the workshop?
Well, my experience is, I'd say 80% of it was the interaction with people. What I did learn, and this is just the way the courses were run back when I was attending them, though. It was like there was again this dinner on a Friday night where somebody would speak, and again Bill always got some great guest lectures. But then on Saturday you had a choice of various like a menu of classes that you could take throughout the day. And normally there was about 3 of them with a lot of free time in between. And so what you found is that you'd go and pick whatever you wanted to take. You go attend a class that morning. You found yourself about an hour in between or so with just standing around, but you found yourself gravitating to different people that were taking the same class that you took, and then you sit around and you discuss it. And it was just all informal, et cetera. But those types of things would really help stick with you, because then you could ask the other person, what would you get out of that? And, every now and then you'd find yourself that, well, I don't know, I'm really not sure what I got out of it. But then it made you stop and think. It stretched your mind in different ways that had not been stretched in recent times. And so I found that you could really walk away with some concepts. But again, most of it was, again, the interaction that you had with the other people.
So that's what, in last week's preview that Dr. Bellows presented to us, he explained that the simulation he's going to be putting people through is just that. You're going to be doing an interactive exercise spread over the course of 2 days, 4 hours on one day, 4 hours on the next. And it's through that interaction. He says there's no observers. Everybody is a participant. That resonates with you?
Absolutely. And and Bill, just the nature of Bill is that he will poke and prod you in different areas that you're maybe it's a little bit out of your comfort zone, but it's simply all he does is he just challenges your thinking, and which I found was great. He'd ask me a question. I said, at first I'm like, what? And then I find myself, wow, that's a great question. And but those are the things that it helps, really stimulate your brain in something that you really haven't been down that path before.
That's fantastic. So based on that, what would you say were the ideas or concepts that you found most sticky? They stuck with you the most after leaving the workshop?
Well, he about appreciation for a system, and about how a change in one area could affect change in another area. That was the biggest thing I learned. He used to give an example about a rocket engine part, and it was about some turbine blades, and about how they changed the variation of a turbine blade, but how it affected the overall performance of the turbine itself. And again, this is just back into rocket engine speak, but I learned about saying just because you reduce the variation into something on a piece of a subassembly of a part, that it doesn't mean it could end up making things worse, for the rest of the system. So really, whenever you do make changes in certain aspects of whatever you're working on, also think about, well, maybe it optimizes where I'm at this point in time, but if it ends up being at the expense of the rest of the system, then therefore I got to really think that through before we go ahead and make those changes. That was the key thing that I learned, over various courses that I took there.
Really, really interesting. So why would you recommend this workshop for other people? We've got a number of folks who are out there considering attending, maybe some who are now in it, but why would you recommend them to definitely go and attend Bill's 8-hour workshop?
Well, I found it in a number of things. I mean, first of all, Bill will be out there. He will meet with an initial group of people at any business. They will get inspired. And then those people will then be the leaders for that change into that organization for the rest of the company or the rest of the organization. And it's a great opportunity for you to learn something different, and secondly to apply something different, and then thirdly, it also will inspire yourself to go ahead and lead that type of change with others as well. There's only so many things you can do in life when it comes to actually making a true positive difference with people, and I believe this is one area where you can make a positive change.
That's excellent. Thank you very much for that. Do you have any other final thoughts you'd like to add?
Oh, really go in there sharp. Think about things when you walk into the class. Bill will he will bring it out of you. He's very good about that. He's a dynamic speaker. He also can go in different directions, and you got to make sure you keep up with him. And it's always a pleasure, and something that I always used to really enjoy when I would be there for the weekend.
I would definitely agree with that. That's been my experience as well. Well, thanks for taking the time out of your day to share with us, John. I really appreciate it. For those viewing and listening right now, you can find out more about the workshop by visiting deming.org/events. You'll see it as the first link at the top of the page for the events for March 21st, 22nd. I'd also like to take this opportunity to remind people that the Deming Institute is a 501c3 nonprofit public charity recognized by the IRS as such. Events like the 8-hour workshop contribute to helping the Institute continue their aim of enriching society through Dr. Deming's philosophy and honoring Dr. Deming's legacy with his teachings now and into the future. You can also learn more about Systems Thinking TO by visiting our meetup site at meetup.com/SystemsThinkingTO. So thanks again, John, for your time. I look forward to seeing everyone else at the workshop next week if they can attend. And thank you.
Thank you, Chris.